Welcome back to American Ground Radio. I'm Stephen Parr with Louis R. Avalone. This is our week-long celebration of our upcoming 4th of July special, What Makes America Great?
No, I remember. Well, actually, I don't remember because I wasn't born.
Okay.
But I remember when I was going to refer to President Kennedy, and we'll get back to that.
Mm-hmm.
But I remember when our country seemed to do big things.
Yes.
Right? They used to focus on big goals, like when he told Congress in 1961, President Kennedy, that is, I believe that this nation should commit itself to achieving the goal before this decade is out of landing a man on the moon and returning him safely to Earth. That was a big thing. And with that vision, Kennedy directed the attention of the country toward what was important. It mobilized the best and brightest that the country had to offer in the process. And yet, I don't feel like we're doing that anymore in our nation, as great as it is.
Well, and that's why, as our intro, we have Kennedy saying we plan to go to the moon and do the other things not because they're easy, but because they are hard. You're exactly right. That was a big thing. And that's why I'm really excited about our next guest, Bill McArthur. We interviewed him, I guess, back in 2020. He's a NASA astronaut. He's been to a whole bunch of different places. And all week long, we're bringing you some of the best guests that we've done over the last couple of years on our 4th of July special.
Right. It's a celebration of what makes our country strong. And it's full of personal stories of struggles and sacrifices. And, well, this is one of them.
And joining us now, astronaut Bill McArthur. Bill graduated from West Point in 1973. He became a test pilot, joined NASA as a flight test engineer. He flew on the space shuttles Columbia, Atlantis, and Discovery. He's also flown on the Russian Soyuz spacecraft.
Oh, my
He's
goodness.
one of very few people on the planet, I guess it was off the planet at the time, when he's
Indeed.
visited both the Russian space station Mir and the International Space Station. Bill McArthur, we're so honored to have you here on our 4th of July special, What Makes America Great.
Well, hi, Stephen, and hi, Louis. It's just really a pleasure to join you today.
Happy Independence Day. You have a very unique perspective, having been out in space, and not just having been out in space, but spending as much time as you have in space. What do you think that perspective has taught you that most of us that have been stuck here on the ground haven't yet seen?
Stephen, there's actually a phrase to describe that, and it's called the overview effect. There's a book. The author has interviewed several astronauts, and he refers to how their perspective changes when you see the Earth as more than just what's on any individual horizon, and it does cause you to reflect on where you fit in the grand scheme of things. And also it helps to provide a perspective in which you appreciate this fabulous planet on which we live.
Yeah, I can imagine when you look at the atmosphere, and the atmosphere just looks so thin compared to what we think of it from here on the ground.
It is so thin.
So, Bill, you've been a patriot for a long time. You went to West Point. You've served in the military. You've got a whole bunch of awards and ribbons. What is it you think makes America great, makes it worth serving and defending the way that you have?
And Stephen, even though I enjoy this sense that I'm a citizen of the world, I am first and foremost a citizen of the United States, and I served the United States as a government employee, either in uniform or as a civilian, for 48 years, and I just think this country is absolutely marvelous, and it's not necessarily always for what the country is, but for what the country can be. If we look back in the history, and I decided today I was going to look back at a couple of very important documents. One is the Declaration of Independence, and the other was the Constitution. And you look at these words in the Declaration of Independence, We hold these truths to be self-evident, that all men are created equal, that they are endowed by their creator with certain unalienable rights, that among these are life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. And so, if we look back in the history of the country, we say there were times that we, even at the beginning, we failed to actually achieve those goals. But that doesn't mean that this country isn't amazing, because it was unique at the time, and that the founding fathers created the framework in which the country, as it grew and matured, and as we became more aware of our responsibility to our fellow men and women, that the country was created in a framework that could grow to aspire to these goals.
Now, Bill, you've served our country for over 48 years in uniform. Do you remember when you realized there was something special about America, something exceptional about our country?
The short answer is no. In that, my dad served, was attached. He commanded a self-propelled anti-aircraft artillery battalion that was attached to Patton's Third Army in World War II. And so I was raised by, I was forged by one of the true members of the greatest generation. And so I always viewed our country as something special, as something that makes the world better and has the potential to be even greater than it is. I do think the United States is great, but I think it absolutely has the potential to become even greater. And that was just the way I was raised.
Yeah, you were quoting the second sentence of the Declaration of Independence, and we quote that on this show all the time. That it and Martin Luther King called it a promissory note. That this is something that we have the potential, and it's the potential of this country, the chances that this country gives to its citizens to be better versions of themselves. I just love your comments on that.
Well, you're very kind, but we could also look at the preamble to the Constitution. We, the people of the United States, in order to form a more perfect union. Well, it's not a perfect union; it's a more perfect union, and I think that also implies that we are blessed to live in a country in which we can continue to change and grow, identify injustice, identify things that we want to change and improve. And we live in a country that allows us to do that.
Bill McArthur, thank you so much for spending part of your 4th of July with us.
Good stuff.
It's beautiful stuff, isn't it? Yeah.
You're very kind, and I have to be very honest. And I do want to say hello, Stephen, also to your wonderful parents, Tom and Joni Parr, some of my favorite people in the world.
They're some of my favorite people too. So yeah, I'll make sure they listen to the show all the time. I will definitely pass that on. Bill McArthur, a NASA astronaut, thank you so much for joining us here on American Ground Radio.
And happy 4th of July.